Good morning students, welcome to Bindu Dhadwal chemistry lessons. Let us solve questions based on term 2 of a model test paper of class 11. If delta G for a reaction is negative, the reaction is spontaneous. For a reaction to be spontaneous, the free energy change should be negative. In graphite, carbon atom is in sp2 hybridized state. In graphite, each carbon is attached to 3 other carbon atoms and it is sp2 hybridized. The IUPAC name of this compound is, so the longest chain is of 5 carbon atoms. We start numbering from here because the substituent and functional group is closest from this end. So the name will be 2-methyl 2,4-pentane diol. Option C is the correct answer. Of aluminium chloride in Friedel-Crafts reaction is produced electrophile. If it's alkylation reaction, then a positively charged alkyl group is produced because of AlCl3. If it's acylation reaction, then an acyl group will be produced with positive charge. M3 positive ion loses 3 electrons. Its oxidation number will increase further and reach to +6. Option C, +6 is the answer. Write the formula of gypsum. It's calcium sulfate dihydrate. Explain Lewis concept of acid. So, an acid is a substance, atom, molecule or ion which can accept a pair of electrons. For example, AlCl3 and BF3. A base is a substance, a Lewis base is a substance, atom, molecule or ion which is capable of donating a pair of electrons. For example, ammonia having a lone pair of electrons on nitrogen atom and water having lone pair of electrons on oxygen atom are capable of donating a pair of electrons, so they're Lewis base. What is IUPAC name of acetic acid? So acetic acid is CH3COOH. The name will be ethanoic acid. Balance the equation by oxidation number method in acidic medium. To balance the equation, we will find out the oxidation number of all the atoms involved in the reaction. Iron has +2 oxidation state. Chromium has, let it be X. So 2 atoms will be having 2X. So 2x plus 7 into -2 is equal to -2. So on solving this equation, 2x minus 14 is equal to -2, 2x is equal to +12 and x is equal to +6. So oxidation state here is +6. Then oxygen -2, iron +3, chromium +3. So first we find out the oxidation number. Then we find out the species undergoing change. So iron undergoes an increase in oxidation number by 1 and goes to oxidation number 3. Chromium from +6 undergoes decrease in oxidation state by 3 for 1 atom and 6 for 2 atoms, in all 6. Now next step is to balance the increase and decrease in oxidation number. So here the decrease is by 6. So to make the increase by 6, we multiply this end with 6. So we get this equation. Now we will balance all atoms except oxygen and hydrogen. So if there are 6 Fe2 plus here, then we will place 6 here as well. So number of atoms, iron atoms are balanced. Then there are 2 chromium here, so we multiply it with 2. So chromium is also balanced. There are 7 oxygen here. To balance oxygen, we will add water molecules on the side which is deficient in electron. As there are 7 less oxygen here, so we add 7 water here. Now to balance hydrogen, we will add hydrogen ions, because reaction is in acidic medium. Hydrogen ions to the side deficient in hydrogen. There are 14 hydrogens here, so we add 14 hydrogen ions on this side. Now iron, chromium, oxygen, hydrogen are balanced. Now let's see if the charges are balanced. 12 positive charges and 14 positive charges make 26 positive charges, then 2 negative makes 24. So 6 threes are 18 positive charges and 6 24 positive charges. The number of positive charges are also balanced. So the equation is balanced now. Give 4 points of difference between oxidation number and valency. So valency is the combining capacity of an element in terms of number of hydrogen atoms with which it combines. So in ammonia, nitrogen combines with 3 hydrogen atoms, so its valency is 3. Oxidation number is the charge which an atom of the element has or appears to have when present in combined state with other atom. For example, in nitric acid, nitrogen appears to have +5 oxidation charge. So it's the oxidation number. Valency is purely a number and has no plus or minus sign associated with it, whereas oxidation number is always assigned with plus or minus sign except when it is 0. Valency is always a whole number. Oxidation number may not always be a whole number, may be fractional also. For example, in iron oxide, iron has oxidation number +8/3. It is a real concept which can be verified or determined experimentally. It is a hypothetical, imagined concept, and its experimental verification is not possible. Water is a liquid while H2S is a gas. Explain. Because oxygen is smaller in size than sulfur and has greater electronegativity than sulfur. So in water, the water molecule will exhibit hydrogen bonding. The negatively charged of oxygen of water attracts the positively charged hydrogen of adjacent water molecule, and the force of attraction is called hydrogen bond. As this hydrogen bond is a strong bond, so water molecules exist associated together and larger energy is needed to separate them. So this much energy is not available under ordinary conditions. So water is a liquid under ordinary conditions. Whereas in H2S, sulfur is not hydrogen bonded, so it is a gas at room temperature. How does hydrogen peroxide react with lead sulfide? So with PbS, H2O2 will combine to form water and PbSO4. With acidified potassium iodide, the reaction will be potassium iodide plus sulfuric acid plus H2O2 will form potassium sulfate plus iodine plus water. Why beryllium and magnesium do not impart color to the flame? Because they have high ionization enthalpy. The energy of flame is not sufficient to excite the electrons to higher energy levels, so it cannot impart color to the flame. Potassium carbonate cannot be prepared by Solvay's process. Solvay's process is used for the manufacture of sodium carbonate, and in that process, when ammonia is passed through brine solution, NaCl solution, the sodium bicarbonate formed is sparingly soluble in water and is precipitated. So it can be later on heated to form sodium carbonate. But in case of potassium, when we pass ammonia through potassium chloride, the potassium bicarbonate formed is fairly soluble in water and cannot be separated and thus cannot be converted to carbonate. Next question, boron does not form BF6 3- ions. This is because boron does not have vacant d orbitals in its valence shell. So it cannot expand its octet. It has only s and 3 p orbitals. So in total 4 orbitals. So as there are no 6 orbitals, so it cannot form Bf6 3 negative ion. What is dry ice? Dry ice is solid carbon dioxide. It is so called because it looks like ice and does not wet cloth, because on heating it will straight away change from solid to gas. It will sublime and not liquefy. So it's called dry ice. Dry ice is solid carbon dioxide. What is hyperconjugation? So when a hydrogen carbon bond is attached to a doubly bonded carbon atom or a benzene ring, the sigma electrons of the sigma bond enter into partial conjugation. These electrons will move here to form a double bond, and these will move away to form a negative charge. So there is no bond left between hydrogen and carbon, and the structure formed is called hyperconjugated structure. And this process, the interaction of sigma electrons with conjugation, is called hyperconjugation. So there are 3 alpha hydrogens, so there will be 3 such structures where conjugation is occurring. This phenomena is called hyperconjugation. Once again, the interaction of sigma electrons with unsaturated pi electron system of a double bond or unsaturated system is called hyperconjugation. In the modern world of rapid industrialization, many factories are situated in villages or towns. Sometimes people feel the presence of irritating vapors and the case of headache, chest pain, cough, etc. Moreover, the rainwater is found to cause yellowing and warble buildings. In context to this, answer the question, define pollutant. So a substance present in the environment in greater proportion than its natural abundance and resulting in harmful effect is called pollutant. What is acid rain? How is it harmful to the environment? So acid rain is caused by presence of oxides of nitrogen and sulfur in atmosphere. It retards growth of forests. It increases acidity of water in lakes. So it is harmful to the environment. Lithium forms oxides, sodium forms peroxide, while potassium forms superoxides. Explain. Lithium with small size has strong positive field around it. The positive field of lithium ion restricts the spread of negative charge towards another oxygen atom and prevents formation of peroxides. Lithium is small in size, has a strong positive field. This will not allow the negative charge of this oxide to spread to another oxide and will restrict the formation of Li2O2 peroxide. Whereas sodium is larger in size and the positive field is weak enough to allow the spread of negative charge from one oxygen to other oxygen atom, so it can form sodium peroxide. But it is still strong enough, this positive field is still strong enough to allow sodium to form superoxide. It will restrict sodium to form superoxide. Whereas potassium ion is still larger in size, the field is still weaker and allows the spread from peroxide to superoxide. So potassium can form superoxides. Beryllium exhibits some similarities with aluminium. Point out 3 such similar properties. Like aluminium, beryllium is not readily attacked by acids because of the presence of an oxide film on the surface of metal. Beryllium hydroxide dissolves in excess alkali to form berylate ion, BeOH 4 times 2 negative. Similarly, aluminium hydroxide dissolves in excess alkali to form aluminate ion. The chlorides of both beryllium and aluminium have chloride-bridged chloride structure in vapor phase. Both the chlorides are soluble in organic solvents and are strong Lewis acids, and both are used as Friedel-Crafts catalysts. What is diagonal relationship and its cause? The first three elements in second period resemble in their properties with elements of third period placed diagonally to them on the right hand side. This relationship of similar properties is called diagonal relationship. The cause of diagonal relationship is similarity in size and electropositive character. Give two uses of washing soda. Washing soda is used in water softening and laundry purposes. It is also used to make glass, soap, caustic soda, etc. How is decomposition of hydrogen peroxide prevented? We should not store hydrogen peroxide in glass bottles. It should be kept in dark colored plastic bottles in refrigerator, and a small amount of phosphoric acid, glycerol, acetanilide or urea is added to retard the decomposition. Give one example in which hydrogen acts as an oxidizing agent. So when in the reaction between sodium and hydrogen to form sodium hydroxide, hydrogen acts as oxidizing agent and sodium as reducing agent. What is perhydrol? Perhydrol is the trade name given to a dilute solution of hydrogen peroxide where it is used as an antiseptic. How can production of dihydrogen from coal gasification be increased? So when coal is treated with steam at a high temperature of 1270 Kelvin, it forms a mixture of carbon monoxide and hydrogen, which is called syngas. This is coal gasification. To increase the production of hydrogen, we treat carbon monoxide with steam at 673 Kelvin in presence of iron chromate as catalyst. So carbon monoxide gets carbon dioxide and hydrogen gas is obtained. This carbon dioxide gas which is formed is removed by scrubbing with sodium arsenide, and so the concentration of or production of hydrogen can be increased. What is the cause of permanent hardness of water? So presence of chlorides and sulfates of calcium and magnesium in water is the cause of permanent hardness. Boric acid is a very weak monobasic acid and can be prepared by acidic hydrolysis of borax. It has antiseptic properties. Why is boric acid considered a weak monobasic acid? This is because boric acid cannot give a proton on its own. It is unable to act as proton donor on its own. It rather acts as a Lewis acid and accepts a hydroxide ion from water and in the process releases proton. So it behaves as an acid on its Lewis acid character and not as a donor of proton. So it is a weak monobasic acid. What is the effect of heat on boric acid? So on heating boric acid at 373 Kelvin, we get metaboric acid, which on heating to 410 Kelvin will form tetraboric acid, which on heating to red hot condition forms boron oxide, B2O3. Why? Heat of neutralization of strong acid and strong base always greater than when one of them is weak. Explain. So strong acids and strong bases are almost completely ionized in dilute or aqueous solutions. So when they are completely ionized, they will release acid will completely release H plus ion, base will completely release OH negative ion, and the underlying reaction will always be the same. That is, H plus ions will react with OH negative ions to form water, unionized water. So the enthalpy of neutralization will be the same, 57.1 kilojoules, minus 57.1 kilojoules per mole. But when acid or base is weak, then some of this energy is used in ionization of the weak acid or base, and so the energy is less than 57.1. Calculate the enthalpy change for the reaction. H2 plus Br2 gives 2HBr, given that the bond energies of HH, BR and HBr are these respectively. So to find out enthalpy of a reaction, we subtract the sum enthalpy, bond enthalpies of products from the sum of bond enthalpies of reactants. So sum of reactants enthalpy will be HH plus BR. So HH is 435, BR is 192. So this plus this becomes 627. And 2 HBr molecules are formed. So multiplying bond enthalpy of HBr 364 with 2 and subtracting from the sum of the reactants, we get minus 101 for 101 kilojoules per mole. So this defines first law of thermodynamics. It states that energy can neither be created nor destroyed. It can only be transferred from one form into another. Explain why pure liquids and solids can be ignored while writing the equilibrium constant expression. We will take example of calcium carbonate solid decomposing to give calcium oxide and carbon dioxide. This is a reversible reaction. For this, equilibrium constant will be concentration of products upon reactants, but calcium oxide and calcium carbonate are in solid form. And we see from the definition, molar concentration is moles per liter or number of moles upon volume. Now 1 mole has a fixed molar mass, so n moles will be again having fixed mass in a fixed volume, means mass per volume will be density. So molar concentration for pure solids and liquids is equal to density of solid or liquid. Density is an intensity property and does not change with the amount of matter. So even if some solid reactant or product is taken away from a solid, the concentration remains the same because density remains the same. So the density as it remains same, there is no change in concentration. It is regarded as 1. Its molar concentration is regarded as 1. That is no change. So in this expression, if we ignore this solid, the equilibrium constant will depend only on the concentration of the gas, carbon dioxide, and that's why we ignore the pure liquids and solids. Their concentration will not change. Do you understand by conjugate acid-base pair? An acid is a substance which has tendency to donate a proton, and a base is a substance that has a tendency to accept a proton. So after losing a proton, an acid will change, for example, HCl after losing its H plus proton will change into chloride, which has a tendency to take a proton. So an acid changes to its conjugate base. Similarly, a base on taking a proton will change into a substance which is capable of donating protons. So it is a conjugate acid of this. So this base forming its conjugate acid or acid forming its conjugate base, this pair of the two species is called conjugate acid-base pair. So in this species, because it's accepting a proton from water, it is base and this is its conjugate acid. And in this is acid, and this one, chloride ion, is its conjugate base. What is solubility product? So, product of concentration of the ions of the salt in its saturated solution at a given temperature raised to the power equal to number of ions produced by dissociation of 1 mole of the salt is called solubility product. What is Friedel-Crafts alkylation reaction? So, when an aromatic compound, when a benzene or its homologue is treated with an alkyl halide in presence of anhydrous aluminum chloride as catalyst, the positively charged alkyl ion gets attached, acts as an electrophile and gets attached to the benzene or its homologue, thereby forming alkyl benzene. This kind of reaction is called Friedel-Crafts alkylation reaction. Draw conformations of ethane and account for their stability. So the two conformations of ethane can be where the front carbon is having hydrogen atoms which are placed far apart from the back carbon hydrogen atoms. They are maximum far apart. This kind of conformation is called staggered. This is more stable than the other conformation where the back hydrogens of the back carbon, they are hidden behind the hydrogens of the front carbon. This kind of conformation is called eclipsed. So staggered is more stable than eclipsed. An alkene A on ozonolysis gives a mixture of ethanol and pentane 3-O. So write the structure and IUPAC name of A, the alkene. So to find out the alkene, we write this is ethanol, CH3CHO, and pentane 3-O means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 carbons with double bond O at this position. Now this O must have come from the ozone that is added. So to arrive at the alkene from which these are formed, we just join this portion with double bond. So we get CH3, CH, double bond, C, CH2, CH3 and CH2, CH3. So this is the product. The name of this product will be, because there is ethyl group on third position, so 3-ethyl pent 2-ene. This is the structure A. Complete the reaction ethanol on concentrated sulfuric acid at 443 Kelvin. So forms ethene and water. So ethene and water are the products. That's all in today's video. If you like the video, please do share and subscribe. Thank you. Have a nice day.